So, first things first, Marie.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm good. Just chilling.
You already played here at Lowlands.
Very played?
You already played.
Oh yeah, I already played. Yes, I did. I played at 12 o'clock.
What was it like?
Actually, I was very surprised that there were so many people. Because like in Norway, people don't really show up at festivals before like, I don't know, really, really late.
Okay.
So, and they don't have fun unless they're wasted. And it seemed like people had fun, and it was like breakfast time, so that's fun.
That's good. And the show went well?
The show went well. My voice is a bit like sore after being sick for a while, but other than that, I think we played decent.
Well, before we talk about your album, I'd like to jump back to the beginning a little bit. And now I read that your grandfather used to play piano and guitar.
Yeah.
What role did music play in your household?
Well, no one in my family really plays anything. So like I didn't really grow up around music at all, except like listening to the radio and the music that my mom played in the car. But my grandfather, he did play the piano. So when I would visit him, he would play it, and that was nice.
What kind of music did he play?
Oh, just like very like grandpa music, dun, 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 like very like, I don't know, it wasn't like pop music or indie or anything like that. It was just like very like folk music almost, and like, yeah, but it was nice.
And am I right in saying that you yourself early on weren't into music that much?
No, I didn't. It took me a while to get into music. But in 7th grade, I kind of wanted to. I remember I really, really wanted a guitar. So
Why did you want a guitar?
I don't know. There was just like something about it. I remember like we had music class,
Sure.
and we would just have like a bunch of guitars, and everyone would be just like strumming G G G G D D D D. And yeah, I liked it, and I thought it was cool. So.
And then you get a guitar. What happens then?
At first you pick it up and everything sucks because you're just like, oh, this shit is hard. So it took me a while to actually get into it when I got my first guitar that my grandfather gave to me, because I didn't master it right away. And I think it's easier to like not, I don't know, it's easy to give up on something when you don't feel like you're mastering it.
Sure. Did it take you long before you start writing yourself, your own things?
No, that pretty much happened like right away when I actually like got the hang of the guitar. Like I could actually play some chords.
Okay.
I would just go straight into writing.
What did you? Do you remember the first song you wrote?
I do, because I have it in a like one of those like composition books that's like black and white, those classic
Sure.
American composition books. I have it, and it's like super depressive. It's just like really bad, and yeah, it's not good. But I still remember the melody, so I mean, there must be something here.
When was the last time you heard that song? Was it a long time ago?
I mean, I haven't recorded it anywhere,
Oh, okay.
so I just have like a memory of writing it, and I just have the writing. So I haven't really ever heard it played back, but maybe I could do that now.
Well, because what I was thinking is, obviously now you've made a bunch of songs and everything's changed a little bit, but could you hear kind of what you were trying to do back then, but didn't have the skills to?
No,
Or is
not
it
really.
completely-
Like, I didn't have any musical sort of like direction back then. It was just like, I'm doing whatever, and I didn't really know anything about anything.
So summer depression, because I wrote down a line, it's kind of what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But there's so much time to question my life.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions were you asking?
Just like everything, like my normal existential crisis, just like, why am I here? Does this even matter? Like, nothing matters. Sort of this thing that I've been like these repetitive thoughts that just like keeps bugging me all the time about how meaningless everything is.
When did these thoughts kind of first started? Did you always have these thoughts?
I've always been thinking a lot about death,
Okay.
but I mean they've become more like stronger. I don't know, like I have them more frequent as I've probably turned like 18, 19. The older I get, the more sad I become because like I just realize this doesn't mean anything.
Well, because I wrote down a couple of lyrics from questions here and there, but for instance, on "I'll Die Anyway," you say, "My questions are countless, looking for answers.
Yeah.
So far, I'm clueless." So, those existential questions. Have you gotten any further with kind of figuring things out?
I mean, I feel like that song was just like this. Like the answer is just like you'll die anyway. So I feel like this song is just like accepting like, oh shit, this doesn't mean anything. I'm just gonna die. In like 100 years, all the people that's living here is gonna be gone, and eventually everyone's gonna be forgotten. So, I mean, it's true.
No, that's true, but you could also see it as very liberating, that thought.
Yeah, I mean, I did write a poem once that said ubetydeligheten I min existens er befriende, but that doesn't make any sense to you guys because you don't speak Norwegian. But just saying that it's like the meaningless of my existence is sort of like, you know, freeing almost, because I feel like you can live a bit more when you know that nothing means anything.
There's no,
yeah.
When do you have to be in a certain mood to die? Are these songs written in certain moods or certain?
I think so. Probably when I'm like really sad, or like I've just been sad and then I'm maybe like on my way up again, so I'm just like able to write. But yeah, I guess I'm just sad.
Yeah, but one thing about the music, I mean, the music doesn't sound sad necessarily. So is that something you kind of consciously do, or is not to make it a depressing song?
Yeah, because I don't really like listening to really slow ballads about wanting to kill yourself. Like that's not fun. And I think, you know, there's like something a little bit hopeful and a bit sort of ironic about having these upbeat songs. And I also think the contrast makes the lyrics even more intense, because I feel like when you put something really happy over something that's super depressive, there's something about that just like intensifies. And I like that. I'm not even sure if intensifies is a word, but
I think it is.
I mean, I think it worked pretty well.
It worked well, yeah. Then there's a line in, let's see, I need to be alone.
Yeah?
Because I'm going through these kind of existential thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm wasting my life on pointless things.
Yeah.
Well, what were you doing? What was the time of your life when you wrote down that line?
That was earlier this year. And, oh, there's a roller coaster there. I like that. That's fun. Whee!
Maybe you can go on it after.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's probably going to be a very fun thing. Momentary happiness, the best thing that in the world.
Fleeting happiness, yeah.
I wrote that line in earlier this year, and I think it was winter, and I was just being a lot inside again, and just not. I think that the thing, if anything matters, it's being with people and sharing experiences. And I wasn't doing that, and I was just being on my phone and just like watching Netflix and just doing these things that like they just take up your time, and you don't have anything left when you're done doing these things, so it's just like pointless. Yeah.
Because I was thinking what you're doing now with music and touring, and you have a very loyal following, I think. So that must feel very satisfying, or you get some sense of purpose from it.
Yeah, that, I mean, especially, I think what it's the best about it is that I make music, and then it really sucks if people don't listen to it, so I'm really happy that people are listening, and that gives me a sense of like happiness of some sort. So that's nice.
And you've always been very, I don't know what the right word is, but very accepting of your fans, or from the people that listen to your music. So
You gotta be.
Yeah, why is that so important? Because not everybody is.
Because it's like you're not gonna be anywhere if people don't listen to you, and I think you should appreciate the people that are taking time out of their lives to so that you can do what you want, and I think it's important to give back to them more personally as well, and not just because like you can release a new song and that's gonna make them really happy, but I feel like, I don't know, it's all about human connections really, and I feel like it's so important to connect with the people that are listening to you.
What is one a story that springs to mind, something that a fan told you that you can share? Or?
I mean, there's so many now, so I can't like pinpoint one, but it's mostly, like I've said this before, but it's mostly just like people who open up and tell me that they've just come out, or they're in the closet, but they feel safe now because of my music. Yeah.
Well, because one thing when I've spoken to queer or lesbian artists, LGBT, all of them, that they usually talk about representation. That when they were growing up, they didn't feel like they were represented.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had any of that either,
Okay.
until like maybe Haley Kiyoko in like 2015, and that's because she had like a song that was called "Girls Like Girls," and yeah, that felt like representation for me.